throwaway account because people know my main. I need advice about a situation with my business partner who's dating my ex-husband, and they're trying to change our business in a way that would exclude me because of my disability. Long post ahead. I, 35F, co-own a small bakery with my childhood friend Maya, 35F. We've been best friends since elementary school and business partners for 8 years. Our bakery has unusual hours. We open at 4 a.m. and close at 1 p.m., partly to keep products fresh each morning and partly because of my health needs. Some background, important context. 5 years ago, Maya and I were in a car accident with her brother. He didn't survive, and I was left with permanent nerve damage that causes chronic pain. My then-husband Blake, 37M, couldn't handle being with someone who needed accommodations and left during my recovery. It was devastating. But I eventually rebuilt my life, and the bakery became my focus. The bakery represents our efforts to rebuild. Maya needed something positive after losing her brother, and I needed a career that could accommodate my disability. We worked hard, and our bakery has become one of the most popular in our city. We have wholesale accounts with local cafes, regular customers who arrive early, and a reputation for high quality. When we started, we designed the workflow and hours around my pain management needs. I'm functional in the mornings, but by late afternoon, my pain flares up. Maya understood that. She saw me through surgeries and rehab. She knows what I can handle. About 2 weeks ago, Maya told me she'd been secretly dating Blake for several months. I was shocked, but I tried to be supportive because Maya has always been there for me and Blake, and I have been over for years. I told her, if he makes you happy, then I'm happy for you. I meant it at the time. Yesterday, I arrived at the bakery at 3:30 a.m. instead of 4 a.m. because I couldn't sleep, and found Maya and Blake reviewing our financial records. They looked surprised. When I asked what they were doing, Maya said they were brainstorming new directions. Blake handed me a mock-up for something called Rise and Wine, their plan to turn the bakery into an evening wine bar that would triple profits. I looked over their plans. They wanted to stay open until 10 p.m. The morning shift would become secondary to the evening concept. Those hours fall when my pain is at its worst. I cannot work evenings without severe consequences to my health. When I pointed that out, Blake suggested I manage the morning shift while they hire someone else for evenings, reducing my role in the business I built after he left. I reminded them that Maya and I are equal owners with equal decision-making power. Blake laughed and said, "Well, it's 2 against 1 then," as if his opinion counted. Maya stayed silent and didn't defend our partnership agreement. That silence hurt more than anything, Blake said. Then Blake said they could buy me out if I wasn't willing to grow with the business. His tone reminded me of when he ended our marriage because of my limitations. Sorry if I sound bitter, but some wounds never fully heal. I asked Maya, "Are you really considering changes that would make it impossible for me to participate?" She avoided eye contact and said there would be necessary sacrifices for success. I was stunned. This is the person who held my hand through 6 surgeries, who helped design our business so I could work despite my disability. After the confrontation, I went back to my apartment above the bakery and cried. I built this business for my health needs, and now it feels like it's being taken away by the 2 people who hurt me most. I've spent the last 24 hours alternating between crying and researching business partnership laws. What makes this worse is remembering how Maya and I started. After the accident, Maya brought baked goods to my physical therapy sessions to motivate me. She said, "When you can walk again, we'll open that bakery." She suggested early hours and helped design the kitchen layout so I wouldn't have to move too much. Every aspect was built around my condition. A quick note, many commenters pointed out this could be discrimination based on disability. And I hadn't considered that angle because I was so focused on the personal betrayal. I honestly don't know what happened to my friend. We've been through middle school drama, high school heartbreaks, college stress, the accident, my divorce, her brother's funeral. We supported each other through everything. I never imagined she would choose my ex-husband over our friendship and partnership. The bakery was our hard work, and now she's letting Blake take over and push me out. He never believed in it. He called it a hobby when we planned it. Now that it's successful, he wants to grow the business in a way that cuts me out. I keep wondering if I'm being unreasonable. Expanding into evening hours could increase profits. But why did they plan this without talking to me? And why is Maya willing to restructure our business knowing it excludes me? I'm at a loss. Any advice about protecting my business while dealing with this betrayal would be appreciated. Thanks for reading. Now for the first update. So, My post about my business partner, best friend, dating my ex-husband while trying to change our bakery blew up way more than I expected. Thank you all for the support, advice, and awards. I've been reading everything, even if I couldn't respond to everyone. It's been a week since I caught Maya and Blake looking through our financial records and proposing their rise and wine concept. First, I want to address the most common questions. 1. Yes, Maya and I have a formal partnership agreement. 2. No, Blake has no legal stake in our business. 3. We own the business 50-50. And 4. I'm looking into whether this qualifies as disability discrimination. Many of you were right about this. The next morning, I contacted a business attorney. The consultation was reassuring. He confirmed that as equal partners, neither Maya nor I can force major changes or push the other out without mutual agreement. The partnership agreement we signed 8 years ago protects both of us. He also mentioned that modifying the business to exclude me because of my disability could constitute discrimination. Shout out to you, Legal Eagle 567, who pointed this out first. I've spent the past week gathering documentation about our bakery's founding principle. I found our original business plan, where we explicitly mentioned accommodating my health needs through specific hours and workflow. There are emails, texts, and local newspaper interviews where Maya talked about how we designed the business to work around my pain management needs. My lawyer says this documentation strengthens my position significantly. Meanwhile, things at the bakery have been tense. Maya has been distant, texting with Blake during our morning prep time and leaving me to handle most customer interactions. She barely makes eye contact with me. After 8 years of friendship, we are now strangers sharing a kitchen. It's painful. After following advice from many of you, I invited Maya to dinner at my apartment to discuss the situation calmly. I thought our 15-year friendship and shared history would help us find common ground away from Blake's influence. I made her favorite pasta from college, the same dish I used to make when we studied together. She arrived 30 minutes late and immediately checked her phone, saying she didn't have much time because Blake was waiting for her at a restaurant. That was hurtful. This was supposed to be our time to talk, and she already had an exit strategy. As we ate, I asked why she suddenly wanted to change our business model after 8 successful years. She explained that Blake thinks we are missing potential revenue and that his connections with alcohol distributors from his restaurant management days would guarantee success. She repeated his words, which showed whose ideas these were. When I reminded her of our original agreement about hours that accommodated my pain management, she sighed and said, "That was years ago. Should we really limit our success because of your condition?" I'm still in shock writing this. She was with me through my physical therapy. I was upset hearing my condition described as a limitation by someone who had witnessed my struggles. She was the friend who supported me through 6 surgeries, brought baked goods to my therapy sessions, and promised we'd build something together that worked for both of us. The conversation fell apart when she revealed Blake had already spoken to neighboring businesses about evening traffic patterns and had drafted renovation plans for a wine bar area, all without my knowledge or input. When I pointed out that these steps violated our partnership agreement, she said perhaps it was time to rethink the partnership entirely. That's when I asked, "Are you choosing Blake over our friendship and business?" She said, "Blake might be interested in buying your share. That might be better for everyone." After she left, I cried at my kitchen table and tried to process what happened to my best friend. I realized that Blake had likely been influencing Maya against me for months, possibly using the relationship to gain access to the business he once mocked as a hobby. It's ironic that he abandoned me because of my disability, and now he's using it to push me out of the business. The next morning, upset from our conversation, I reviewed our business documents again. I discovered that Maya had been accessing our financial records outside business hours and emailing them to her personal account. We had agreed never to do that for security reasons. The most recent access was at 9:30 p.m., the night before our dinner, when she would have been with Blake. After this discovery, I went from heartbroken to angry. Many of you said I should be angrier, and you were right. This isn't just about our friendship anymore. It's about protecting the business I built and my livelihood. I decided to speak with our longtime customers about the proposed changes, wondering if they would even want an evening wine bar. Over the past 2 days, I've spoken with several regular customers, and their responses have been supportive of our current model. Many specifically mentioned they choose our bakery because of its fresh morning offerings and consistent quality. One older gentleman who comes in every day at 5 a.m. said, Please don't change a thing. This place is perfect as it is. I also reached out to our wholesale clients. We supply pastries to 3 local cafes every morning. All 3 indicated they would likely need to find new suppliers if our morning production was scaled back for evening service. One cafe owner even offered to write a formal letter stating how valuable our current business model is to their operations. I'm meeting with my lawyer again tomorrow to discuss next steps. Many of you recommended documenting everything, and I've been doing exactly that. I'm also going to speak with a disability rights advocate. One of you recommended in private messages. Thank you for that contact. I never imagined I'd be fighting my best friend for the business we built together. But here we are. It feels like I've lost Maya twice. First to Blake, and now to whatever version of herself she's become under his influence. I'm trying to focus on protecting what we built, rather than mourning what we lost. I want to thank everyone for the support on my original post. Your advice gave me the courage to stand up for myself and my business. I'm still processing everything, but I feel less alone knowing so many of you understand and support me. I'll update again after meeting with the lawyer and developing our formal response to Maya and Blake's proposal. Now for the second update. Update 2. Thanks to everyone who commented on my last post about Maya and Blake's attempt to take over our bakery. Link to original post and first update for those who missed it. I'm truly grateful for your support and advice. It has been the only thing keeping me sane. It's been about 2 weeks since my last update, when I discovered Maya had been secretly emailing our financial records to her personal account. I've been gathering evidence and speaking with customers, taking your advice to document everything, and things have gotten worse than I expected. I spent most of last week talking to our regulars about Maya and Blake's proposed changes. Nearly everyone I spoke with expressed concern about the rise and wine concept. Our 5 a.m. regulars were especially upset when I mentioned scaling back morning hours. One said, "Where else would I go? You're the only bakery that opens early enough for people like me." All 3 cafes we supply wholesale pastries to confirmed they'd need new suppliers if we reduced morning production. One owner wrote a letter stating how valuable our current model is to their operation, which my lawyer said could be helpful evidence. With that feedback and my lawyer's advice, I scheduled a business meeting with Maya at a conference room in my lawyer's office. I requested Blake not attend since he has no legal stake in our business. Apparently, that boundary didn't matter. When I arrived yesterday, I saw Blake next to Maya. Before I could speak, he said he was there as Maya's business advisor. Maya avoided eye contact and held her portfolio. I had prepared a presentation of customer feedback and financial projections showing why our current model works. As I set up my laptop, Blake interrupted with comments about emotional attachments to outdated models and how we needed significant changes. I presented data showing morning sales account for over 70% of our revenue and have the strongest loyalty. Blake dismissed my presentation and said evening wine sales would cover any losses. When I asked for his market research or financial projections, he cited his years in the restaurant industry. He'd managed one restaurant for 2 years before getting fired. Maya slid a folder across the table. Inside was a proposal for me to sell my half of the business at a price nearly 40% below market value. The document was dated 3 weeks earlier. They'd planned this buyout before discussing any changes with me. When I refused the low offer, Blake said, "You're not exactly in a position to refuse. Who else would hire someone with your limitations?" Maya didn't defend me. After the accident, my surgeries, building this business together, she remained silent while he told me I was unemployable because of my disability. During the meeting, Blake mentioned they'd already spoken to the landlord about extending the lease under new terms once it expires in 3 months. Only Maya and I should have known those details. His knowledge confirmed Maya had been sharing confidential documents with him. I ended the meeting by saying I needed to consult my attorney. As I gathered my things, Blake said, "Don't take too long. This offer won't be on the table forever." After the meeting, I got a text from the landlord asking if everything was okay. He said a man claiming to represent me had inquired about changing the lease terms. I called him and learned Blake had represented himself as having authority to discuss our lease. The landlord wasn't comfortable and wanted to confirm with me directly. That evening, I received messages from employees saying Maya had told them about upcoming changes and new evening hours without consulting me. Some bakers work here because our hours let them be home with their kids in the afternoon. They're worried about how changes would affect them. Edit. Maya apparently told our head baker that I was resistant to change because of personal issues and implied I might step back soon. That explains why some staff have been giving me strange looks this week. This isn't about friendship with Maya anymore. It's about protecting the business I built and my livelihood. Blake isn't just helping Maya. He's trying to push me out so he can take my place. He once called the bakery a hobby, but now it's worth taking. This morning I met with my attorney to go over every detail. He believes Maya may have violated clauses in our partnership agreement by sharing confidential information and making major decisions without procedure. He's drafting a response to their buyout offer and a cease and desist on information sharing. I also called my doctor to document how these forced changes would impact my health condition. He's preparing a medical statement explaining why the proposed schedule would make it impossible for me to continue working. My lawyer says this strengthens our case for disability discrimination. I'm still processing everything. 8 years of friendship and partnership destroyed in weeks because of Blake's influence. I wonder if there were signs I missed or if Maya was always capable of this betrayal. I'm meeting with my attorney again tomorrow to discuss next steps, which will likely include formal mediation. I never wanted a legal battle, but they've left me no choice. I'm not going to let them take the business I built to accommodate my health needs after the accident that changed our lives. Thank you again for your support and advice. Your comments have helped me stay focused through this situation. I'm still not sure what the right path is with Maya and Blake's actions, but your insights help. Now for the final update. Since my last post about the bakery situation with Maya and Blake, things have changed. First, thank you for your advice and support. You were there when my business partner betrayed me, and I still can't believe it after 15 years. About 3 weeks after meeting my attorney, we had enough evidence and sent Maya a formal letter outlining partnership violations. We demanded she stop sharing information or planning without me and respond to our buyout offer at full partnership value. Maya called 2 hours after receiving the letter and asked if we could meet without lawyers or Blake to sort things out like before. I wanted to believe we could fix things, but my attorney advised against unofficial meetings. I told Maya all communication must go through legal representatives now. The next day, our head baker texted saying Blake had been at the bakery after hours, taking photos of recipe books and schedules. He said he was helping Maya organize the transition. I forwarded that to my attorney. My lawyer set up mediation for the next week. I collected statements from customers and vendors about the importance of our current business model. 3 wholesale accounts wrote letters saying they would take their business elsewhere if morning production changed. The day before mediation, the landlord called to say Blake had approached him with paperwork claiming to represent our bakery. He refused to sign and offered me a separate lease for another property he owns 2 blocks away if things fell through. On mediation day, I arrived with my folder of evidence, medical documents, and customer testimonials. I was nervous because of a pain flare-up. My attorney met me outside and said we were prepared. In the mediator's office, Maya and Blake were seated together. Their expressions changed when they saw our evidence folder. The mediator reviewed our partnership agreement, focusing on confidentiality and consent for major decisions. My attorney presented emails Maya sent to Blake with financial statements, staff schedules, vendor contracts, and our lease. Maya sank lower in her chair and Blake's face reddened. Then my attorney showed medical documentation explaining how my nerve damage worsens in the evening, making the proposed new schedule impossible. The original hours were a reasonable accommodation for my disability. Blake said I was playing the disability card because I resisted change. Maya looked uncomfortable. Next, the attorney presented client statements about the value of our business model. I mentioned my landlord's offer and his refusal to negotiate with Blake. Maya looked stunned and accused me of going behind her back. The mediator pointed out Maya had worked behind my back for months before I took action. Blake said Maya deserved better, and my limitations held the business back. He claimed Maya would be better off without me. The mediator asked him to calm down or leave. He refused and said he was integral to the business. Maya then told him his presence was making things worse and he needed to go. Blake left the room. With Maya, our attorneys, the mediator, and me remaining, Maya admitted Blake had convinced her I limited the business. He isolated her by pointing out my disability while downplaying my role in building accommodations. After 2 hours, we agreed Maya would buy my share at market value, giving me capital to open a morning-focused bakery in the landlord's property 2 blocks away. Staff could choose to work at either location. After everyone left, Maya apologized for letting Blake come between us. I said I hoped her business did well, but I couldn't continue as partners. 6 weeks later, my new bakery, Early Bird, opens next month with 5 original staff members. Maya kept the first space, but dropped her new concept after Blake disappeared. Word is he tried the same with another owner and was caught. I no longer dread losing what I've built. The new space has better accessibility and a layout that meets my health needs. Edit. Many asked about Maya. We're not friends, but remain civil when we meet. She sent a handwritten note apologizing and wishing me luck with Early Bird. I appreciate it. I've learned to be more careful about who I trust with my business and my life. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. Going through it has made me more resilient. Thanks to everyone who advised me to document everything and stand my ground.